This stream is powered by Melita, using Melita Gigapower Internet. World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
For only €5 a month, experience every high-definition moment on your TV, tablet, phone or PC. Great teams, great moments, and so much more. TSN from Melita is your ticket to stay in the game. Visit melita.com/sports.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
It's just so dangerous. You're risking not only your life, but also my life.
wish your Wi-Fi network would just work in any room? Our new Stellar Wi-Fi is AI assisted to give you the smoothest, fastest possible Wi-Fi throughout your home. Stellar Wi-Fi, assisted by AI, exclusive to Melita. Find out more in-store or online.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to World Pro Racing. And as soon as the weekend is over and done with, we're back here for weekday racing action. Alex Goldschmidt and Nicholas Hilbrand back with you once again. Nicholas, I hope you had a good weekend after that interesting 90 minutes of the Hungaroring we had on Saturday night. But it's back to GT3 casual sprint racing action this evening.
Yeah, thanks for welcoming here, Alex. It's been certainly an interesting race last weekend, and well, the rest of the Sunday I definitely needed to renew my energy for today from that race, because obviously 90 minutes, 3 times the racing action as normally, but it's good to be back in the sprint format and at a fantastic track as well.
Yes, of course, with the DLC pack now well and truly underway on Assetto Corsa Competizione, we're able to race for our 6th successive week on the ACC platform, but this time it's the new track on the DLC, Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, simply known as Imola, 3.050 miles, 4.909 kilometers. And just having a look back over the last 5 weeks, we've had 4 different winners from the 5 different races. First at Spa was Thiago Limo, then it was Jan-Niklas Ebrich, both Brands Hatch and Misano, before Marek Vons, who returns after a week's absence, and then it was Luke Whitehead last week at Suzuka. So will we have 5 different winners out of the last 6 races? Very going to be an interesting proposition. But also don't forget a big thank you to all our partners and sponsors. This stream is powered in association with Melita. Big thank you to also visitmalta.com, Gaming Malta, HyperX, AMD, and Thrustmaster. And we welcome you all that are watching on the relevant World Pro Racing Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube streams. Also welcome those from Malta at TBM Sport, Esports Television, and of course, motorsport.tv. And Nicholas, I see that we have another packed out grid for this evening, around about 30 GT3 cars. But it's a very different test at Imola, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. The thing about Imola is it's always been a temple of speed, of course, well known with its roots actually as one of the fastest street circuits. And now, of course, a completely permanent circuit. And, well, I think it's probably the most famous through its F1 time, sadly, due to, a little bit of a less popular way to get a track very well renowned, because of, obviously the crashes of Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna. But nevertheless, it's a fantastic circuit. The safety there has improved exponentially over the last couple of years. And obviously for GT racing, we had it in the GT World Challenge this year, which made for a very interesting race.
But also, don't forget that the casual racing still carries on. Next Tuesday, we switch to GT4, and it's a daytime to dark. It's a dark to night. It's a day to dark race at Kyalami for GT4. Plenty of spaces. Head to worldproracing.com. There are around 27 spots still on the grid, and I've noticed a few familiar names such as Sergio Mendes and Marek Vons that have already decided to bite the bullet and go for it. And it looks like we're going to be heading to qualifying, and the track is optimum, but there's a lot of grey cloud overhead. 17 degrees air temperature, 20 degrees track temperature. And there we have our race, practice. My apologies there. Luke Whitehead has switched. He switched from the Lexus to the Mercedes, and it proved dividends last week at the Hungaroring. So he's very much definitely finding the Mercedes AMG GT3 now. Is that the Evo I spot with a new headlight configuration there?
Yeah, it definitely is. Of course, also well known for that new, bigger, so to speak, mouth of the car at the front. You know, the opening for the radiator being a bit bigger now here. And of course also on the rear end, the diffuser being a bit more advanced than the non-Evo. But yeah, it's been a very, very popular pick among drivers so far. We actually saw still a bit mixed up reception for the Ferrari, which of course also got its new Evo model in this pack. But nevertheless, you know, we have people going through all new cars. But one thing that all cars actually have in common is this brand new tire model.
Yes, which we were discussing at length last Saturday as Gergely Kunsabo going through the chicane there. Absolutely flying through there in the Lexus. The number 11 currently running in 10th place at the moment. Marek Vons has also switched to the Mercedes as well, and the number 91 from TPC Sim Racing. Currently leading free practice on a 1 minute 41.097. So it's a 15-minute practice session, 15-minute qualifying session, and as usual on a Tuesday night, it is flat out pedal to the metal, no mandatory pit stops, and it is all guns blazing. And just to hear that roar of that a Falterbach produced AMG engine, as always, it just sounds so glorious.
Yeah, it's definitely just one of the most iconic sounds, I'd say, in GT3 racing. Also one of the biggest engines that are still active. I think 6.2 or 6.3 liters, around that mark. I think only matched at the moment by the Callaway Corvette, which sadly isn't as widespread as the Mercedes. But yeah, just one hell of a sound, and it's just an absolute roar that makes you feel the shaking in your bones.
Yeah, you can feel those vibrations through the floor when the cars actually pass on track. Very much the case when Mercedes was also running a DTM up until their participation for, I think, the best part of 3 decades, until Gary Paffett secured his second DTM title, and Mercedes, their 4-litre V8 C63 AMG, always put the hairs on the back of my neck. There is Gianluca Mangione in the number 8 Lexus, currently running in P3. So at the moment we have Vons and Whitehead making it a Mercedes 1-2, Mangione in the Lexus, and Littlewood also in the Lexus. You just see the times there. Looking pretty close between the top 5 at the moment. Make that the top 6, as you've got Thomas in what is effectively 6th position, covered by just under a second, with Vons fastest in sector 1, but Whitehead is going purple in sectors 2 and 3. So Whitehead really starting to enjoy driving that Mercedes at the moment.
Yeah, I think what really came out in the last week was basically, you know, he just needs a little bit of time to get used to this, current situation, to get used to the car, to get used to the track. But as soon as he's comfortable, he can just pump out lap after lap after lap with absolute ungodly consistency. So, yeah, what can you say other than, this is a driver to fear, especially for Marek Vons, because I think, Vons, of course, being one of the very fast guys himself, at the time when Vons won, though, Whitehead hadn't awakened, so to say, yet, so I will actually be looking very keenly at the possible battle that can unfold between these two.
Yeah, I mean, Vons was second at Spa. Whitehead took 2 successive second-place finishes behind Jan-Niklas Ebrich, who won at both Brands Hatch and Misano before we went to Monza. And Marek Vons in the BMW just absolutely threw a curveball to everyone else. No one could touch him, not even Sheldon Muscat, who is currently out on the circuit at the moment, the number 14 from GT Omega RPM Esports, currently running at the top 26. But it has been a bit of a tall order with the not just the introduction, because it's not just the Mercedes that has had the Evo package introduced for the new DLC, it's also the Ferrari 488. There's Ben Norton in the number 13. He's also gone to the Mercedes. There's Jorge Afonseca, currently rounding out the 20th, the top 20. So those two are the ones that will, I think we found out last time that a few drivers that were deciding, especially at the Hungaroring, to actually go with something quite familiar in the fact that they were using the non-Evo Ferrari, and it paid to dividends even with the sidewall change through the new DLC content.
Yeah, I think the Ferrari generally is a bit more of a specialist car, I'd say. It's, very aero dependent, and especially in that aero kit. Oh, that is a little bit of a punt there. I think a little bit too much slowdown than anticipated for the Lexus behind. But basically, the Ferrari is quite a unique car because it has so much reliance on downforce. It has a humongous diffuser, which actually I think stretches almost to the middle of the car. So generally, the car is quite unique, and therefore also has very unique vehicle dynamics and balances. So the Evo kit changed that a little bit, and I think as well, like with the Audi R8 LMS Evo, it changed the rear axle a bit, and not everyone that I know could actually adapt to that change too quickly yet. So yeah, it's all about driver preference, and if something that is old and proven works better for you in that moment, then why not go for the older one?
Exactly, as they say, Nicholas. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Here's Patrizio Gemello staying in Godzilla's welcome open arms, the number 74 Nissan. Don't forget, if you want to join us here on World Pro Racing, you want to race with us, why not follow us on our social media? We are on Facebook. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're even on LinkedIn as well. We hold weekly casual races, special events. We've also got the World Pro Racing Sprint Series, which has its halfway point this coming Friday, the 27th of November at 8:30 p.m. Central European Time. It's round 3 at Brands Hatch. And then the week after, on the 4th of December, it'll be round 4 at Zandvoort for the final round at a circuit that both myself and Nicholas can call home, the legendary Eifel region with the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit on the 11th of December. So for further information about anything that's going on with World Pro Racing, head to worldproracing.com. There's Mangione, looking pretty racy in the Lexus at the moment, even though it is free practice, just 7 minutes to go. The Italian driver currently running in second position. So at the moment, with 6 minutes and 53 seconds to go, Marek Vons is leading the way in the 91 Mercedes ahead of Gianluca Mangione in number 8. Luke Whitehead. And then also we have got Pedro Gomez in the 26 ahead of Lucas Romanek. Littlewood, Harrison has also changed in the Mercedes. We then got Thomas in the number 1 Lexus, currently rounding out the top 8, ahead of Tom Otti and Sheldon Muscat in the number 14 Mercedes, just ahead of Ben Norton in the number 13 Mercedes that has just decided to pit. And there again, you can see the times. Marek Vons, a clear 0.132 seconds ahead of Mangione, and it's a further it's over a tenth and a bit back to Whitehead. And then with the Lexus of Gorms in the number 26, as Romanek in the Aston Martin, now up into second position on a 141.211. And very close there, Nicholas, between the top 16, who are covered by just under 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is once again a case where some of the drivers, like Rohr, for example, who up to his crash on Saturday was fighting for the lead quite hardly with this Porsche. I think people are once again, trying to run different preparation strategies. They're doing either race preparation or qualifying preparation. Mm-hmm. And I think, for example, Muscat and Harrison, I think they still got a little bit more pace in them, because especially from the races that I saw from both of them at Hungaroring and also at Suzuka, they can run with the top crowds. They can definitely just compete around the top. And Simon Speth in the Lamborghini in 14th as well. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that's all they have.
Well, Speth has had 2 top 3 finishes, both at Misano and Monza So he is one that we do need to keep our eyes on, and he is one of the crew at TPC Sim Racing along with Marek Vons. So keep your eyes on the Lamborghini Huracan of Simon Speth, as that is Marek Vons going rally crossing. That's not exactly what you want to do in a ton and a half worth of GT3 machinery there. He definitely would be picking up the repair bill and the cleaning bill from the team after that one if it was a real life situation. And I definitely know for a fact that his backside would not be very happy about the fact that it probably would have been bruised to hell after going over the grass.
Yeah, overall, the smallest bumps. I mean, overall, if you drove, for example, a lawnmower, where you can sit on, you already realize how bumpy it is, because those things basically don't really have all too much feathering either. In a road car, it's a lot easier because, the springs, the dampeners, they're all basically set up so it's around as soft as possible without impacting the car too much with the handling, so it's actually still direct. Of course, all for street safety there, but these cars, they're just completely all on directness, all on fine-tuning, all on pure speed. And driving over the grass like that, I know from experience that is, a very nice experience to make. Not necessarily when you don't plan on, but it's a bumpy ride.
Yes, indeed. So just over 3 minutes to go in the session. Christopher Lagerson and the number 25 Lexus comes across the line on the long run down from Rivazza. So that will have been Samuel Harrison in the Stanbridge Motorsport 217 Mercedes. Best lap from him so far, 1 minute 42.027. He's done a 1:42.2 on his last lap. So it's a very tough test here. A lot of fast corners, especially when you head down from Rivazza across the start-finish line into Tamburello, which used to be a flat-out left-hander. Now is a very, very different animal altogether, as Harrison looking to make some inroads. As Vons still leads the session. Now going under the bridge, and you can just see how committed these drivers have been through this practice session. Down into the dip. And it's an old school track here. It's not easy to keep it on the black stuff here, Nicholas, as we go across, we go on board with Marek Vons. So just give us, from a driver's perspective, some of the idiosyncrasies, the sort of the nuances of this track here at Imola.
Yeah, a very familiar sight. Hard brakes into the Tamburello chicane, as you said, used to be flat out left, but now this beautiful left chicane. The big difficulty here is just trying to get on the inside curbs without hitting the anti-cuts too much. Then next up we have the Villeneuve chicane, which also used to be just a fast right-hand kink. Now a very nice left-right chicane. And you actually saw once again, he hit that anti-cut a little bit too hard. Instantly the car's unstable and he has to correct a bit. Now Tosa, beautiful hairpin, stayed the same since the 70s as far as I know, as far as I remember from historic versions of this. Now up the hill, over the right-hand kink into Piratella, down to third gear, and this is actually one of the very, very few parts where it actually has tarmac runoff. Basically everything else is just still complete normal here, and now into Acqua Minerale. Beautiful, beautiful corner here, and a little bit too deep into there for him there, but that is just showing how easy it is to overcook it into that, because it's such a speedy corner. Now Variante Alta, top of the hill, and over the sausage curbs here once again. Goes over the outside curb nicely, and now down the hill through the left hand and then under the bridge through the right hand kink into the two Rivazzas, and you just really have to hit your braking marks perfectly here.
Yep, so through into Rivazza, the double left that brings them back onto the straightaway. Looks to be a pretty competitive time here from Marek Vons. We'll wait as he comes out of the final corner. Goes across the line in the 91 Mercedes. Does he improve? Yeah. He's put in a 1 minute 41.733. His best lap time is a 1 minute 41.0, as that is it for the free practice session. The checkered flag is out. Sheldon Muscat will look to make sure that he's got a bit further up the field in qualifying very, very soon indeed. But he's currently 13th, and you can see the fastest lap out of anybody. Marek Vons, Lucas Romanek, Gianluca Mangione, Luke Whitehead, Gergely Kunsabo. That is the top 5 covered by exactly 0.3 of a second, with Gorms, Littlewood, Harrison, Thomas and Huoff rounding out the top 10, all covered by a second, pretty much. And it's going to be an interesting qualifying session, which will be getting underway very, very shortly. But again, Marek Vons, irrespective of what machinery you put him in, Nicholas, he is absolutely... he's like a GT3 assassin. He'll just strike, and he'll make sure it's in plain sight and everyone can see it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a mental game as well, because he always just makes sure that he's just that little bit ahead. It's not completely too close, so within a tenth, you can always say, if I had just taken this line a bit better, if I'd taken this line a bit better. But when you're moving at these speeds, and he just puts in that time with over a tenth distance, there's still this little room for the other drivers to think, where can I still improve? How can I still optimize it? Because this is really like starting to push on the limit now here. But in the top 5, overall 0.3, with, I think I saw 3 different cars there, the AMG, the Aston Martin, and the Lexus. I think anyone's really open for the deal right now, and especially the Lexus with its absolute roaring power down the straights. Gergely Kunsabo here as well, now hitting probably his top form that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. I'm really interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, so very shortly we'll be getting underway with timed qualifying here on World Pro Racing, the GT3 at Imola Casual Race. Don't forget, you can head to worldproracing.com to find out further information about what is going on. Now we are underway with qualifying, as there is the number 1 of Nathaniel Thomas getting a bit out of shape through the chicane. So it's never easy, especially when you're trying to put in the perfect outlap. So they will be making their way up the hill. And this is where some of the drivers really start to thread the eye of the needle and put the pedal to the metal. So we've got Littlewood, and that looks to be Marek Vons just behind in the 91. So they're going to go up the hill once again, put the power down. And Marek Vons very much in the tow. Then into the Variante Alta before the double left, and that's a bit of a run wide there from the Lexus. But just to see how quickly Marek Vons just is able to get past. So as you said, Nicholas, I think at the end of the day, any of the manufacturers could have an opportunity, as now Marek Vons comes across the line in the 91 Mercedes to possibly just set what is a benchmark of some description, but it might just be an outlap. Let's just see. He comes across the line. So that was an outlap. And now the real charge for qualifying begins. Hard on the brakes into Tamburello. Through the right, left and into the right. And now down in towards Villeneuve. So Vons is going to be the real sort of trailblazer in this session, like he was back at Monza a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely good form from him so far, and you can see it already. Littlewood's right behind him, and of course, when you see one of the guys ahead of you, who he's definitely one of the very, very fast guys. He's just constantly, of course, trying to follow him directly. He's constantly trying to just keep up with him, and in the Lexus, of course, it's not going to have the same strengths as Vons's Mercedes, so it's just very easy to be misled into mistakes, and mistakes which we are not seeing right now are from Marek Vons, because he's just absolutely flying. Very nice and flowing. You can just see how he's just trying to hit his marks as best as possible. Comes over here, left side curb once again as well, just perfectly. And there in the background we see I think that was Littlewood actually again, this time avoiding the anti-cuts, because we saw that car actually get launched quite a distance over that last lap.
Yep, all the way to the right-hand side, so it was exit stage right for the Lexus, as Marek Vons currently sitting in 10th position, but that would have been in the order that the cars came out from the pit lane. Let's see what the number 91 does. And that shows, well, it says that his last lap, that might have been a disallow because obviously Variante Alta is a very tight chicane. And if you're four wheels on the curves, that effectively is a track cut. So that could have been disallowed lap time there. So at the minute, it looks like Piardi in the Bentley is leading the way ahead of Thomas. Well, that's changed because Tom Ottaway in the number 70 has gone up into second position. And he was running in a very different car. He was running the Porsche at the Hungaroring. He switched to the Aston Martin. And Sam Harrison in the 217 Mercedes goes to provisional pole with just 10.5 minutes remaining as Ottaway drops to fourth place. Sam Harrison has been setting the benchmark at 1 minute 41.970. So that, yes, that does. I mean, look at Marek Vons now, Nicholas. He's down in 16th place. He's got to start pushing hard.
Yeah, if that lap had been valid, though, that would be provisional pole. But as you said, first you have to put the lap together that is actually valid. And especially Imola, you know, a circuit where you can just cut so easily when you have to take so much curb, it can be quite difficult sometimes.
Yes, indeed. But it is about times of showing qualifying. But it's not about where you start, it's where you finish at the end of the race. And we will have half an hour racing a little bit later on this evening. As now Luke Whitehead takes provisional pole position in the number 6 Mercedes. So it is in a Falterbach 1-2 at the moment with Whitehead leading Harrison. Gomes, Marek Vons now just jumps up into provisional pole with 9.5 minutes remaining. So it is a Mercedes 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Vons from Whitehead, Harrison, Gomes from in the Lexus, and then Piardi in Bentley. Norton makes it 4. Well, it looks like Nathaniel Thomas has gone up into third place in the meantime. And Mangione now makes it 2 Lexuses in the top 5.
Yeah, very good pace from all of the guys that were also in free practice quite far up. I think we're just missing Romanek right now, who probably is going to line up and do his laps now as well. Romanek, I think, you know, one of the guys who we could have seen off more on Saturday, but, you know, he just couldn't put all the pieces together quite. But there we have Gary Consabo, who I just said, you know, he's in his best form today, I think. And that is a 41.4, so he's moving that Lexus on the absolute edge right now.
Oh, also, we have to wish our steward George a very, very happy birthday today. So, George, many happy returns. Good to have him with us here on World Pro Racing. I'm sure that you'll probably have a couple of cheeky drinks to celebrate a bit later on when this is all said and done, George. So many happy returns, my friend. Congratulations on your special day. But yeah, Kunsabo has been absolutely flying in that Lexus. But you can't count out, I mean, Romanek, you've just mentioned, he's up into 5th place behind Mangione. So it is becoming a three-manufacturer race here. It's between Mercedes, Lexus and Aston Martin. But Yannick Ruoff, currently sitting in P9 at the minute. I mean, look at it. I mean, 4 Mercedes in the top 8. That's ridiculous. Here comes the Porsche of Yannick Ruoff. I mean, in some respects, the Porsche will be quite adept at this circuit. Okay, we both know that with the shorter gearing, it's not going to help. The top speed isn't as high as, say, the Bentley that's just gone past, which I think was Piardi. So Ruoff will have a bit of an advantage with regards to the agility of the Porsche, the way that it handles.
Yeah, I think a good call for Ruoff with going with a Porsche, a car that for once he's very well, actually for one is very familiar with. And for 2, you know, a very agile car, and as you say, the shorter gearing, not maxing out here, and also not having too long corners here, so there won't really be the aspect of the rear engine just being a countless source of understeer throughout longer high-speed corners for Ruoff. It's all just medium speed or low speed corners, and that is really where the Porsche excels. So I think if Ruoff just gets his laps together and, you know, just maybe gets into his rhythm a little bit more, I think we could see a very good time from him coming out as well.
Yeah, Luke Whitehead definitely consistently hitting the low 41s. There's Gianluca Mangione, last lap from the number 8, the Italian, a 1 minute 44.334. He's got the headlights ablaze on that Lexus RCF GT3, and as That is one of the Mercedes just up ahead, and that is the driver in, I think that was 27th position according to the windscreen on there. That's the number 69 Mercedes. So looks like Daniel Hackett in the number 44 is also in the pits. As we see a rogue Porsche going outside. I think that could be Mats Valden. So Mangione, oh, nice lap from Mangione. 1 minute 40.704. Sorry about the Freudian slip there, but it was quite appropriate considering we are at Imola and it is an Italian driver. So that was a brilliant lap from Mangione there. Puts Vons down into second, Whitehead third, Kunsabo and Romanek. Well, it was Romanek as Norton has just gone P5.
Everyone's getting out their A game now, but in the chat, I think just a couple minutes ago, someone joined in and was immediately like, "Oh, optimum temps, optimum track condition, low temperatures, and yeah, here we go with the 1 minute 40s." And yeah, there comes Mangione and puts in that 1 minute 40. There we go with Luke Whitehead as well, and yeah, it's once again just so close right now. It's really just always stunning to see how all these drivers just find that last bit of speed in the last couple of minutes of qualifying and just move so close together.
Well, between the top three at the moment, it is a tenth of a second between Mangione, Marek Vons and Luke Whitehead. So Mangione having the advantage on home soil, looking very, very nice and neat and tidy through the chicane, which would have been through Variante Alta. And you can just see 3 1,000ths. Oh my goodness, Mangione has bettered Vons in this session. Wow, that was an absolutely brilliant lap time from Mangione there. A 1 minute 40.704. Marek Vons, a 1 minute 40.707. And then Luke Whitehead, a 140.815. And then you look at the gap back to Gogli Kunsaba there, Nicolas. Over 0.6 of a second between third and fourth. That's how hard the top three are pushing.
Yeah, and I think just over one lap, you know, getting that much pace out of the car on a circuit like this, it's definitely something else. As we have now Lukas Romanek actually putting it into fourth and relegating Kunsabo down to the third starting row. But, you know, nevertheless, just really fantastic results from everyone anyway. The one thing I was absolutely in awe about the entirety of the top three was the best sector times, just every single sector in comparison to each other, because each one of them had one personal best sector. Whitehead the best first, Marek Vons the best second, and Mangione the best third sector. So that was just really something to look at.
Yes, it was indeed. So the drivers now have just over 3 minutes in this session remaining here at Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, Imola. As Gogli Kunsabo has the there's a Bentley just up ahead. That looks like the number 2 of Finazzi, currently in 19th position. So a lot of drivers. That's Roberto Finazzi as we go on board with Gogli Kunsabo, and you can just see how hard he's pushing that Lexus and has to bail out of that lap. It was just a bit too up close and personal with Finazzi. So there's the 85 Aston Martin off the circuit. So yeah, Romanek being able to keep out of the way. The 85 Aston Martin in the very, very brightly coloured car, a bit of purple and a bit of magenta and a bit of deep purple there as well for the 85. Romanek does not improve. The best lap time, I mean, it showed a 1 minute 38, but obviously that is a disallowed lap time, obviously, probably due to maybe track limits. Kunsabo has put the Lexus in the pits, but at the moment, Marek Vons has now retaken provisional pole here at Imola, as we have 1 minute and 3/4 still remaining. Marek Vons leads Gianluca Mangione. Luke Whitehead, Lukas Romanek in the 332 Aston Martin. We have on our screens at the moment. Gogli Kunsabo, Ben Norton, Nathaniel Thomas, Samuel Harrison, Sheldon Muscat, Yannick Koroff, and the top 10 covered by 1.75 seconds. as Marek Vos. Look at that time, Nicolas. A 1 minute 40.515. That's a belter.
Yeah, what can you say to that? Like, Fons is just always, as you said, like an assassin, but in plain sight. He just always wants to make sure that this distance is plainly visible. Obviously, they're in a league of their own at the moment with their 3/10 over the top three. But, yeah, Marek Vos just putting himself almost 2/10 in front of second and third. That is just, I think, a bit of a power play from him.
I think it's definitely the power play of that 6.2 litre naturally aspirated V8 built from the halls at Affalterbach in Germany. As now Marek Vos comes across the line. Yellow flags are out at the minute. And does Vons. He'll stay in first, but does he actually improve? That was a 1 minute 42.3. The timer fast running out. We're into the last 10 seconds of the session. Yellow flags out going into Tamburello. Someone's obviously had a moment. Sheldon Muscat fast running out of time. And the number 14 will try and do his absolute damnedest. And that is it for the session. Timer strikes 0. As Muscat now will absolutely hustle that number 14 Mercedes from GT Omega RPM Esports as hard as he will dare. Up the hill he goes. Under the bridge. And it'll be down to, it's the run down to the chicane at Variante Alta before the double left at Rivazza to complete his final attempt of a flying lap here in qualification. Kun Sabo has resigned himself to 5th ahead of Ben Norton. Harrison 8th. Ruoff will be 11th ahead of Simon Speth in 12th with the sole Lamborghini in the top 20. Muscat comes out of the final corner, out of the last left at Rivazza and powers his way towards the start-finish line. Is it an improvement for the 14? Goes P6 with a 1 minute 41.553, and that ends qualifying. But Marek Vos, he's doing exactly what we saw with the BMW at Monza. There's no stopping this guy at the minute, is there?
I think the best way to stop him or to attempt to stop him would be, well, obviously for the other drivers to just be on their fingertips and, or well, toe tips, more than that, at the start. Immediately put the power down and just try to get around him before they even get to Tamburello. But yeah, other than that, you just have to keep fighting him and just try to put up the same pace, or just try to go as much alongside with him as possible to slow him down.
Yeah, I think also putting the pressure on is another key point here as well, Nicolas, because Imola is not an easy circuit to overtake. But if you come out of Rivazza and head down to Tamburello, you could possibly have a 3-wide situation going into that chicane. And that could be very, very nasty, because we both know that 3 into 1 on the same bit of tarmac never goes.
Yeah, but I think that's the big thrill about Imola, because just generally you have this wonderful situation from 260 kilometers an hour where you have the space. It's a little bit winding, but overall, it's the front straight. But then it just suddenly goes into this mid-speed complex down to 3rd or 2nd gear, and suddenly everyone just has to scramble for this very tight space, and just this opening up, closing down, opening up, closing down. It's constantly like this on this circuit, and this is just beautiful, in my opinion, because at the same time it remains in such a flowing way.
And also provides the real true character of this particular circuit, which has in past years and also quite recently in Formula One hosted the San Marino Grand Prix, amongst other. So let's go back on track, and we're about to get things underway. The 30 minutes casual GT3 race here at Imola about to get underway in just under 30 seconds time. And it is Marek Vos in the 91 Mercedes. We'll have Gianluca Mangione in the number 8 Lexus alongside. Whitehead and Romanek look to be in 3rd and 4th ahead of Kunsavo, Muscat, Norton, Thomas, Harrison, Otti. And we are seconds away from getting things going Temperature has dropped. It's gone down to 16 degrees air, 16 degrees track. And now we get the short formation lap underway here on World Pro Racing. 30 minutes of GT3 action about to get underway here at the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari. Cloud cover looking to be a big part of this over the next half of this race. 30 minutes in all. It's a full-out sprint, and the drivers will give no quarter whatsoever. It will be down to Marek Vons and Gianluca Mangione, who are leading the way. Vons doing exactly what he did on Italian 2 weeks ago at our casual race at Monza. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we do have a treat for you this evening. It is GT3 action here at Imola. We wait for the lights to go from red to green, and when they do go green, the accelerators will be pressed hard to the floor. Wait for it, hold on to something, brace yourselves. So this is where it's all going to be about the psychological mind games. Green lights, and we are off and away. A great start from Mangione towards the outside, heading into Tamburello for the first time. Luke Whitehead going on the defensive early, but Mangione ran the outside, all threading the eye of the needle. He kicks up the dust by going wide, going through the second half, and there comes Whitehead. Mangione wide, coming out of the second part of Tamburello, and Whitehead 2 wheels on the grass, trying to go up the inside into Villeneuve, as there is an absolute melee at the back there, a car spinning left, right, front and centre. One of which is there's an 88 Bentley Lexus, and there's more carnage coming out of Tamburello, heading towards Villeneuve, and some of the drivers, Paulo Cisco in the NERT, McLaren in the 97, right to the back end of the field. Afonseca, I think, in the 52 is back there as well. But at the front of the field, Vons versus Whitehead. It is Mercedes 1 and 2 at the moment. Romanek currently sitting in 6th position, so he's dropped a handful of places through the first opening skirmish, as there is Hackett running a little bit wide. It's not what you want to do in this game, because otherwise it can bite you back hard with track limits being abused. So Romanek has a bit of work to do. He's got Nathaniel Thomas just up ahead, but Whitehead here, Nicolas, is closing on Vons for the lead.
Yeah, Mangione just a little bit too wide in the first chicane, and that just gave Whitehead the momentum past the Lexus that he needed. But now, of course, he's sitting right behind Marek Vons, right behind that, well, what we're used to seeing BMW driver that just put himself apart from the rest. But we've had another car just go off there, and that I think that was through the through Rivazza, as everyone's sort of just literally trying to get one boot on the other foot. As Nathaniel Thomas going towards the outside of the first part of Tamburello on Ben Norton, but Norton took the defensive line. That's a slingshot and a half from Thomas. He goes round the outside of the Mercedes, outside of Tamburello. Brilliant move, and Romanek waiting to pounce in his own right, but then he's got Hackett to the outside. Yeah, just once again, these trains here, you just constantly have to be on your toes, have to get every bit of track, every bit of line, every bit of braking just perfectly right. And once again, Romanek here, he's about to get put down another place, I think, because Hackett is in a prime spot to go for an overtake, but he actually eases off again. Yeah, Sam Harrison in the 217 from Stanbridge Motorsport. Oh, Hackett has a moment. Hackett has a moment behind Romanek. Oh, he caught that one. That could have been very, very nasty indeed. So at this track, as you very well put, Nicholas, you've got to be on your A game. You've got to have your eyeballs on stalks and probably eyes in the back of your head if you need them. So just over 3 minutes completed, and Marek Vons has started to pull away from Whitehead. But just keep your eyes on Mangione there, Nicholas. He is catching the two in front. Yeah, I think if he just puts himself properly together again, he definitely has the race pace to challenge these two. But I think Whitehead, just out of the corner of my eye, I saw him go for a move early, and that might have just brought his rhythm off a little bit, just like Diego Ribaldi right now, who's having a hard time defending from Yannick Ruoff. who of course in his Porsche is trying to break this dominance of Mercedes, Lexus and Aston Martin in the top 10.
There's even the odd Bentley with Roberto Vinazzi in there as well. There's Nathaniel Thomas in the number 1 Lexus. He's being hustled along by Ben Norton, Lucas Romanek, Sam Harrison, Daniel Hackett, now rounding out the top 8 in the number 44 Mercedes and the 26 Lexus of Gomes, and then the 92 Bentley of Finazzi round out the top 10 ahead of Noto, Reboldi, Ruoff, Simon Speth. There is Patrizio Gemello trying to close on Johnson. That's Steve Johnson in the 85 Aston Martin, just up ahead. So Godzilla trying to do his best as there comes Finazzi heading towards the inside of Gomes. As we've had a moment, and that was Romanik off the track. So Harrison gets up to 6th place behind Norton. So Romanek drops down into 7th place. Finazzi now has got up into 9th and has got past the number 26 Lexus of Gomes with Noto in the number 72 just behind. So a lot of positional changes, and we are not even 5 minutes in to this race as Marek Vons continues to lead. Whitehead in 2nd, Mangione, Thomas, Norton, Harrison, Romanek, Hackett, Finazzi, Gomes, Noto, Reboldi, Ruoff, Speth, Muscat down in 15th as there was a bit of a lock-up just in front of Reboldi, and that would have been possibly now. I think that is Noto in the 72 just up ahead, closing on Gomes as they are about to go across the start-finish line. Front end of that Lexus of the number 26, looking a bit second-hand. Umberto Noto going to the right, then to the left. Now was there a moment there for the number 26 Lexus? Yes, completely cut. Tamburello and is going to have to give that position to Noto because that was advantage for that driver there. I'm afraid he absolutely shortcutted that like a good one.
Yeah, I think Gomez under a lot of pressure. That definitely will be some downforce on the front lost already, and that is definitely contact as well. That is punt to pass, as they like to call it sometimes. But yeah, I think that was definitely not the fine British way of fighting there.
There was definitely no stiff upper lip in that one. That was definitely a kick you in the shins and hope you get away with this sort of manoeuvre.
Yeah, that for sure. I mean, we could see how Gomez got under pressure by Noto, but yeah, that's overtaking that way after he already missed the first chicane, a little bit hard. And we also have some news now from our race directors. Sheldon Muscat is getting a penalty, 30-second stop and go for an incident at the start, I think, between Muscat and Kunsabo. So, big shame, I think. Actually, I don't see Kunsabo on the entries anymore, so I think he may have DNF'd already.
Yeah, there's the car. It's parked in the pit lane. That's it for Gergely Kunsabo. A real shame, because that Lexus was looking rather hot to trot. So, Sheldon Muscat incurring the wrath of our steward George, who just so happens to have his birthday and also has the surname Muscat. How about that one, ladies and gentlemen? So Riboldi coming under fire now from Simon Speth. So that Lamborghini definitely getting up to pace here at Imola. But then you've got Yannick Ruoff. Sheldon Muscat will have to serve that penalty very, very soon within the next 3 laps. But Diego Riboldi in the number 69 Mercedes from NERT trying to close on Umberto Noto, and Gomes in the numbers 72 and 26. But meanwhile, we head to the battle for what is 4th, 5th and 6th position. Simon Speth being hounded now, this time by... Remember Misano when he won? So that's all I'm going to say about that. And Muscat has now had the stop-go 30 penalty issued. And we'll have to serve that in the next 3 laps. So Simon Speth and Yannick Ruoff will now have to try. They won't have to worry about Muscat now here, Nicholas, because they've got bigger fish to fry, and that's just up ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I think they at the moment just have to focus on themselves. But look at this top 3 battle right here. Whitehead, Mangione and Vons. All 3 of them now on their A game. And I don't know if Vons is maybe just trying to take a little bit of pace out of it, or if he's actually starting to struggle now, because that is slipstream range, that is attack range for Luke Whitehead if he just plays his cards right. And he already looks to the outside there, making very clear what intentions he has.
I think probably in the next lap or two, not even that. Look at the run! Through, up the inside, he goes on Marek Vons. And this is going to be rather interesting because now Whitehead has the inside line. He sweeps up the inside of Marek Vons. Oh, they bump! And this is going to allow Mangione the opportunity to steal the lead! Brilliant job through Villeneuve there. Mangione read it like a textbook. Absolutely saw the play coming from Whitehead. Vons responded. They banged door panels. And Mangione said grazie mille on his way past.
Yeah, two of them fighting and the third guy's laughing, as they like to say in German.
Yes.
Yeah, Mangione just perfectly waiting there, lying in wait, seeing, oh yeah, they're going side by side. Either they're going to lose a lot of momentum through this, or they're going to bump into each other. And bump into each other they did. He was right there when he needed to be.
Good move there by Sam Harrison against Ben Norton. These two are battling over what is 5th position. A real good move there from Samuel Harrison, but Norton was quickly on the counter-attack. But the 217 now has Nathaniel Thomas in his crosshairs as we've now hit just 20 minutes on the clock of this, what has been an exciting GT3 casual race here on World Pro Racing. Gianluca Mangione must be absolutely loving things right now, leading on home soil here at Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari at Imola. Don't forget, if you want to get involved, why not head to worldproracing.com to register. Also, why not follow us on all our respective social medias, Twitter, Facebook. You can even find us on LinkedIn. And we also host weekly casual races, special events, and of course championships on PC and PS4 on a multitude of different platforms, including not just Assetto Corsa Competizione, R Factor 2, and also Gran Turismo Sport. Looked like Whitehead got a little bit wide trying to follow Mangione, as looks like Muscat's trying to put as much pressure on Riboldi to try and force him into a mistake. And that is going through Tamburello. Oh, Muscat pulls out a blinder there, and just behind is the Lexus of Adam Pluach, and it looks like Simon Speth has got a drive-through. I would believe that is for that is on a move on Littlewood. So Marcus Littlewood, who's now down in 23rd. Simon Speth for contact. So that is what we call in karting circles in the United Kingdom, advantage by contact. He gets a drive-through for his efforts. So Simon Speth's race goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, definitely not what they were hoping for in that situation. Both Muscat and Speth, as they're right behind each other, of course, and both with a penalty. But at the moment, Speth definitely in a better position. That will be around 30 seconds that he'll probably gain on Muscat.
But I've also been informed that there are other incidents that are being investigated, and there are more penalties set to come. This has been one of the most action-packed, drama-filled, penalty-laden races here on World Pro Racing for quite a time, as Ben Norton being closed in on by Lucas Romanek in the 332, and that is for 6th position. Samuel Harrison starts to get away into the distance. Here comes Romanek up into the first. Morello up the inside of Ben Norton, doesn't allow him any move, any room whatsoever to come back at him. So Romanek threaded the eye of the needle, and then Ben Norton flashing the headlights to say, no, I'm not too happy about that, you ran me off the track. Well, if there was a gap, it was customary that Romanek was going to go for it.
Yeah, there was definitely a gap, and overall I think Romanek just made use the most of how the different anti-cuts in that corner section are. Because over the left-hand side, for the first left-hander, you can just take a little bit more anti-cut. On the right-hand side, it slows you down a little bit more, and of course, when he's completely alongside already, you can't completely just drive yourself off the track to give all the space. I'd say, if anything, that was maybe, like a racing incident, just a little bit of elbows out in that situation. But obviously, in that situation, you have a lot of adrenaline, and of course, in that car, he's going to be shouting his head off.
And probably a few expletives as well. That's normally what happens with adrenaline and racing. I know that for a fact. So, at the moment, Mangione is being pressurised because, look, Marek Vons has absolutely dropped off the radar in the battle for the lead. He's way behind at the moment. So his last lap was a 1 minute 42.105. Simon Speth being hustled now. This is by Littlewood. Oh, I sense a bit of revenge, maybe serve cold in the air, but I don't think Littlewood would be wise to try anything. He's trying to hold back, but he goes up the inside. Good move there, but he runs wide. I think Speth knew the move was coming, and he could see it. And, the two have clashed again. And this time, Speth is the one that gets turned around this time and drives the front of the Huracan, unfortunately, into the wall just off of the pit lane entry. So, I think this is an evening that Simon Speth will want to forget. There's now blue flags coming into play, and this is where it all changes. And you've got the likes of Umberto Noto, the number 72, currently running in 11th position, and that was one Lexus flying past another one just then. So that could have been maybe Plivac, I think. So some drivers really pushing the envelope of adhesion like crazy. But Mangione, with just over half of this race to go, and it looks like Simon Speth is serving his drive-through penalty, decided to do it now, as that is through Variante Alta that the two leaders have gone. And this is where it's going to be. So we are under 15 minutes still to go. Mangione leads at Imola ahead of Whitehead, Vons, Thomas, Harrison, Romanek, Norton, Hackett, Finazzi and Ruoff. And from 1st to 11th, they are covered by quite a considerable margin, as now Mangione extends the gap over Whitehead to just over half a second. So still pretty good pace from the Italian in that Lexus. Stop go 30 for Gomes as well in the number 26. Masvalden trying to battle away with Patrizio Gemello. This is for 22nd position, so Godzilla has gotten up the order by a further place as they now make their way through. And, still good to see that Masvalden has been doing his level best to keep pace with everyone, having joined us a couple of weeks ago. Him and Anders, and it looks like Mats has decided to stay the course and keep on trucking as that Porsche tries to close up to that Nissan as they're heading out of Variante Alta down to Rivazza. As now Romanek closing on Harrison side by side for 5th position. But through into the very next corner, Romanek has the position back. So Romanek up from 6th to 5th. But Harrison will have the run on the Aston Martin. 4-litre V8 turbocharged engine in that Aston. 6.2-litre naturally aspirated V8 in the Mercedes. So Romanek using the Aston's agility to great effect. And looks to be that Nathaniel Thomas, I think, is just up ahead.
Yeah, I think Thomas and Norton were actually the ones that sort of just jumped Romanek at the start. Romanek was, I think, caught out sort of like Mangione was in the first corner, you know, just a little bit too wide, takes a little bit of dirt and instantly gets jumped because you just need so much momentum through the Tamburello chicane. And yeah, Romanek, he's finally getting his center again. You know, of course, when you just have a start like that, you just get overtaken by not one, not two, but maybe even 3 or 4 cars. You just lose your center. You just have to find it again first. And I think he's really quite good at doing that right now, because Thomas, if we are correct, and I think we are, is right ahead, so he would be right back to his starting position then.
Yep, and there is Nathaniel Thomas in the number 1 Lexus as Marcus Littlewood battling away with Reboldi in the number 69 Mercedes. That's for 12th position. They've got Plivac Umberto Noto having dramas in the 72 Aston Martin, and that car is pointing in completely the opposite direction. Let's have a look at the replay here. Well, that was the... so I'm not too sure what happened, whether Umberto Noto had been turned around. But I think that in that respect there, Nicolas, it could have been maybe an incident that caused that problem. But Umberto Noto, who's rounding out, I think, the top 11 at one point, is now out of the race.
Yeah, big shame for him. A very good run from him so far. But I think that was the top of Aquaminerale, so I'd say either it was that he carried a bit too much speed in there, then went over the outside anti-cuts, and the car just, went around on him. When the cars are just completely unbalanced and then hit these big bumps like we see there from Marcus Littlewood. Is that commentator's curse? I was describing a different situation, and that is exactly
Riboldi had cat-like reflexes there and got out of the way. Littlewood saved that, but he's having to wait. He's doing the sensible thing, but I don't really want. Thank goodness the camera cut away at that moment, because I think I probably might have had a thought that somebody might have just absolutely T-boned Marcus Littlewood there. But yeah, it's been rather interesting so far, as now Gianluca Mangione has lapped Sheldon Muscat down in 23rd position. And Mangione is getting away. He's scarpering off into the distance. And now that he's got Muscat in front, behind him, but more importantly, in front of Whitehead, as we've got just over 10 minutes of this race remaining, Mangione has really come alive in this race, and it's a track that Mangione will have spent days, not just minutes or hours. It will have been days, maybe even weeks of practicing, even though it hasn't been out that long on the DLC package on Assetto Corsa Competizione, but Mangione will probably know this track very, very well.
Well, it's home ground, and of course, Italians with a lot of pride in their motorsports history, and rightfully so, many fantastic manufacturers, Ferrari, Alfa, and of course Lamborghini, come from Italy, and this is one of the big temples of speed in Italy. So of course he has to show very good there at the home crowd,
Ben Norton trying to close up on Lucas Romanek for 5th position for the Aston Martin, keeping the Mercedes at bay as they go through the double left at Rivazza, come across the line with Nathaniel Thomas still up ahead. Looks like we're getting some more messages from race control at the minute. Luke Whitehead currently rounding out the top two, trying to chase down Gianluca Mangione. Vons, Thomas, Romanek, Norton, Harrison, Hackett, Finazzi, and rounding out the top 10 is Yannick Huoff, as we see that there's been a 5-second penalty added to Luke Whitehead, and there was a clash. The clash between Vons and Whitehead, means that it was Whitehead that got the 5-second time penalty from race control, and all that Marek Vons has to do is to just keep within 5 seconds of Luke Whitehead, and he will take second place.
I'll be honest, at the moment, how Whitehead's car is shaking, I think he has a bit bigger problems than that. That looks like very borderline connection issues, and let's hope that his connection actually catches itself from fully disconnecting him there. And that is actually almost both cars heading off there. That is, I think, Elbrecht and Johnson there. Elbrecht actually thinking better of it and letting Johnson back through, just for the case of doubt that he was being a little bit unfair. So, all different sorts of talents, of course. We have all sorts of experience levels here. And, it's just, everyone is just here to race. It's just very nice to see that.
Yep, no championship points up for grabs. No psychological mind games. It's about having fun whilst racing. And that's what these casual races are all about. Don't forget, there are still plenty of spots available in excess of 20 plus. We'll make that 24 as of right now, as we have just under 7.5 minutes still to go in this race. Dan Hackett in the number 44, currently still in P8. 24 spots available for the GT4 at Kyalami from daytime to dusk. And we have, at the moment, we have 6 drivers signed up so far. We have Itamar Yativ in there as well from GT Omega Esports. Marek Vons, Sergio Mendes, Simon Speth. We've also got Stephen Painter and Christopher Lageritson also registered. So head to worldproracing.com. If you have Assetto Corsa Competizione, you have the GT4 part of the DLC pack and also the relevant tracks. Feel free to join us. All you need to do is go to our website to sign on. So 6.5 minutes to go. Mangione still leading the way. Luke Whitehead, as Nicholas was saying a little bit earlier, yeah, those connection issues look to be a bit apparent there, as you can just tell the way that he, from his aspect, he'll say, yeah, well, the car's turning in from our side. It looks like a completely different story. And I fear that Marek Vons is within the 5 seconds at the moment.
Looks around 3 seconds or around that distance right now. So he would still be within the distance, but Whitehead, despite the connection issues, he's doing some very solid lap times right now. So, and I mean, at the same time, Marek Vons 41.4 as the last lap. That's very decent race pace, to say the least. So at the moment, it's really everyone just pushing right on edge. Whitehead just trying to stay ahead and getting that car home, maybe even in second, but even under these circumstances, the third place. With connection issues like that, I'd be very happy to be able to finish the race.
Very, very true indeed. As Stephen Johnson battling away, looks like that there is a lone McLaren. That could be Cisco in the 97. And that is Elbrecht, I think, cutting the chicane at Variante Alta in Lexus. So Elbrecht currently in 17th position with Parna, Gemello and Afonseca rounding out the top 20 positions. Johnson still doing a very credible effort in 16th in that brightly coloured 85 Aston Martin. And into the last 5 minutes we go. Still opportunities for drivers to make up places. The Sheldon Muscat trying to close on Mats Valden. That is for 22nd position. The Mercedes Variante Alta trying to duck to the right, weave to the left. But Valden holds it nice and steady through the first and then second. Even though he kicks up some dust with the right hand side of that Porsche. Coming through the double left at Rivazza. Luke Whitehead definitely a lot further back from Mangione. But then the biggest question is, what's happened to Marek Vons? Because he was within 3 seconds, and there is Vons. He's only just coming through the exit of Villeneuve, it looks like. Well, coming through Tabarello and then heading into Villeneuve before going into Tosa. So, yeah, I think Marek Vons has had a bit of a moment there.
Yeah, last lap 1:45.0, very unusual. Just for context to people who are just tuning in, that is around 4 seconds slower right now than his current fastest lap. And that is not something that we're quite used to seeing from him, to say the least. I think he had probably an off there at Rivazza, or maybe Variante Alta, and had to just either lift off or, of course, had to pick some gravel out of his splitter and diffuser first.
Yeah, you never know. You never know, indeed. So just over 3 minutes remaining. Marek Vons rounds out the top three as Luke Whitehead's connection issues seem to be putting that car left, right, and at one point it could put it upside down if he's not careful. But yeah, for those wondering, the connection issues is the way that the cars, if the car's sort of going smoothly around the corners, it'll look like it's going around the corner. But Luke Whitehead's connection makes it look like that car's not. That car seems to have the wheels from Will Smith and iRobot in that Audi, and we've just been told that the issues have been noted.
Meanwhile, we also have a drive-through penalty for Romanek, and we didn't get a notification from race control, so that could possibly be that it's once again a cut track penalty.
Yeah, I think you could be right there. And that is going to allow Ben Norton to go up into 5th place. Obviously, with the fact that Romanek's only just been served that penalty, because it's an additional 60 seconds post-race if the driver opts to not pit. And that could really put Romanek maybe towards the bottom part of the top 10, because Harrison isn't too far away from this three-car battle. So Valden relinquishes 22nd to Sheldon Muscat. Now goes up the hill. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting how everything changes after Romanek having been served that drive-through. And Norton still trying to get on terms with the Aston Martin. And that was close between the pair of them. Going through into Variante Alta. Romanek keeps it nice and tidy through the chicane, as does Norton. This is where it's going to really count, because Norton, if he gets ahead of Romanek, there'll be a drop of at least one position. So, leader on the final lap, as Romanek lets Norton through effectively, just ran a little bit wide. And now, so it looks like Romanek will take the penalty post-race for not serving the drive-through. So Mangione is probably heading towards Tosa. There is Mangione at the moment as we speak.
Yeah, seems quite clear right now. He seems, as soon as he got past, as soon as he profited from that little situation that Whitehead and Fons had in Villeneuve, he just kept calm, he just drove his race, and that's exactly what he needed to do in that moment.
Yep, so Muscat off the circuit, whilst Romanek is still ahead. Sam Harrison just flashing at Sheldon Muscat to say, look, Sheldon, just need you to get out of the way, buddy. Blue flags are waving. So, after half an hour of racing, that is it. Through into the Variante Alta for the final time here at Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari at Imola for the GT3 at Imola casual race live here on World Pro Racing. It is going to be our 5th different winner from 6 different races. As through into Rivazza 1 and 2 for the final time comes Gianluca Maggioni, and the Tifosi in the grandstand virtual go wild as an Italian wins on home soil here at Imola. The number 8 Lexus crosses the line, and there is also going to be another penalty issued. Luke White, second position. Marek Vons crosses the line in 3rd. Now, was he too far back to capitalise on that 5-second time penalty that Luke Whitehead was given? Thomas takes 4th ahead of Norton. Lucas Romanek will have a drive-through penalty. That is now a 30-second post-race time penalty. A 15-second penalty for Marcus Littlewood with the incident between him and Noto. So that was why Noto was turned the other way around at Acqua Minerari. But Gianluca Maggioni, victorious here on home soil by 2.28 seconds. And the 5-second penalty will mean that Marek Vons does get promoted to the runner-up position this evening, by all accounts, doesn't it?
I think that's already with the penalty seconds deducted, though, to be honest.
Okay. That gives me a complete... I think, we'll still talk to our top 3 anyway, but Gianluca Maggioni, fantastic victory here on home soil in Italy. What a job from the number 8 Lexus. Harrison will take 7th, Hackett 8th, Finazzi and Huoff rounding out the top 10 ahead of Plivac, Friboldi, Ottaway, Kasisalu from Estonia, who we really haven't had much to talk about this evening. Rounds out the top 14 ahead of Leigritsen, the number 25 Lexus's best finish this season. So there you have it. Gianluca Maggioni, victorious here at Imola.
Yeah, great drive from him. And actually, I have to correct myself. You're absolutely right. Whitehead just 1 second behind Vons now with the penalty applied. So I apologize for my mistake there. But what a race, to be sure. And I'd say I speak for everyone when I say it was tension from start to finish.
Yes, I think the fingernails were bitten very much to the quick here on World Pro Racing. We'll be back. We'll be having our interviews through very shortly. We'll speak to our driver that won last week at Suzuka, but this time it's a 4th trip to the podium in 6 races. Luke Whitehead. Luke, firstly, a bit of a battle between you and Marek Vons. It came to door panel blows, but still you got a P3 at the end of the race despite the 5-second time penalty. How are you feeling this evening after what's been an interesting 30 minutes at Imola?
Well, I'm happy with how I drove. I think I did everything that I needed to do. And I was in the lead at one point briefly. Got sort of there was a bit of collision. Got driven off the track, but yeah, nothing much I could really do about that. Unfortunately, just turned in. The car was just there on the grass. So yeah, just a bit annoying, but it happens. Still happy with third. Like it could have been a lot worse. The pace mid race was very good. A lot of positives to take. Yeah, just pretty decent. I think I did everything I needed to do.
And obviously, that Mercedes has now become a rocket launcher in your hands, my friend. After victory at the ring on Saturday, you've been able to use the GT3 Evo to great effect here at Imola. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you again soon here on World Pro Racing. Well done tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, Nicholas, I think I'll leave it to you to interview this evening our winner from Monza a couple of weeks ago from TPC Sim Racing, Marek Vons.
Marek, once again, a fantastic drive from you. You had us on our toes, just standing up in the seats when you brought out that qualifying lap. But in the end, it didn't quite work out. How are your thoughts just overall on the race?
Oh, hey guys, good evening again. Nice to talk to you again. It was a good race for me. But yeah, the qualifying lap, I don't know where did I get it from. It was maybe hidden in my socks somewhere, but so I pulled it out. And yeah, it came like 40.5, and yeah, I was really happy with the lap because it was my best lap at Imola so far. But yeah, then in the race, I was kind of saddened by Mangione's start because it looked like he was already in front of me just before the green light went off. But yeah, never mind, because he really deserved his win today. Congrats to him because he had a great race pace. I saw it already in the practice before. But yeah, so I was a P1 for first few laps, and yeah, I was probably lacking the race pace a little bit because I was trying to be too safe maybe to not get the warnings and stuff like that. And yeah, then Luke started to push on me, and yeah, we played a little bumper cars with him. But I'm glad that the stewards noticed it, and finally the 5-second penalty for him worked out for me pretty well. But yeah, the well-deserved win for Mangione. He was really fast in the race pace, and but shame we couldn't fight it on track. But yeah, still a good race, good fun again.
Yeah, great drive from you in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, congratulations once again. Good, solid second place, and back to you, Alex.
Okay, well, a bit different for this evening, but we have not only with Gianluca Magioni, who celebrates a victory on home soil. I've got Umberto with him, who will be our translator. Umberto, first of all, could you congratulate Gianluca on his fantastic victory here at Imola this evening? From his perspective, can he just describe his race to us?
Ok Gianluca, ti fanno i complimenti per il primo posto, hai fatto veramente una gara eccezionale. E cosa ne pensi di questa gara? Come è andata secondo te?
Allora, intanto ringrazio per i complimenti. La gara, una bella gara, interessante, molto interessante, mezz'oretta di pura adrenalina.
Okay.
Ho trovato avversari fortissimi con le Mercedes, mi sono divertito.
Okay, Gianluca said that the race was very, very nice, very, very good fight with the other drivers, and just half an hour of race in a very hard push to keep the first position.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see that he's also our fifth different winner from the 6 different GT3 casual races that we've held over the 6 weeks. It must have been nice to win on home soil, so to speak, if you could ask him that for me.
Sorry, can you repeat the question because it's not very clear, your voice in my headset.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gianluca is the 5th different winner from the 6 different GT3 races we've had here on World Pro Racing. How proud does he feel to have won on Italian soil?
Ah, ok, Gianluca dice che sei praticamente il 15° vincitore delle gare di World Pro Racing. Ma esatto, ma cosa ne pensi di questo? Cosa pensi di questo format?
Questo format lo trovo bello, non troppo impegnativo. Cioè, lo farei tutte le settimane molto volentieri perché è molto bello. Una gara così senza impegnarsi più di tanto è bello, molto bello.
Okay, Gianluca said that for him, this very first time to join this kind of race, this format, half an hour of race, and it's very nice format and very nice organization, and he's very happy to join, and so that's all.
Okay. Well, grazie mille a tutti. That's all my Italian. But thank you very much, guys, and hopefully we see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you from my side and also from Gianluca's side. Yeah.
Grazie ragazzi.
Prego.
So that is it from us here at World Pro Racing from the GT3 and race with myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Nicholas Hilbrand. Nicholas, 5 different winners from 6 different races. We head to GT4 for next Tuesday from the daytime to dusk race at Kyalami next on which is effectively the 1st of December. So I can't believe that Christmas is not too far away. That's going to be a very different, interesting opportunity for more drivers to get involved with us here.
Yeah, definitely. The GT4 cars are definitely a fantastic change of pace. GT3 cars already, of course, very well done in this simulation, but the GT4s, they're a completely different way of driving, completely different way of fighting overall. And especially at Kyalami, a track which has a lot of high-speed and mid-speed corners, I think it will be very, very interesting to see how the different drivers will be able to adapt to that and who will, in the end, stand on top there. But especially, we're going from one track with a lot of tradition to the next track, Imola from the 70s as a street circuit, to Kyalami, which was also, I think, a street circuit back in the day. And yeah, what could be better than this?
Indeed. So don't forget to tune in for this Friday's 3rd round of the World Pro Racing Sprint Series on the Assetto Corsa competition platform, where the drivers that are fighting for a €500 prize pool, with the winner after 5 rounds taking a top prize of €250 this coming Friday at Brands Hatch Grand Prix at 20:30 Central European Time. A big thank you once again to our partners. This stream has been powered by Melita. And also a big thank you to visitmalta.com, Gaming Malta, HyperX, AMD, and Thrustmaster. A big thank you to all of you watching on Malta's TVM Sport channel, Esports TV, Motorsport.tv, and of course the World Pro Racing Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube streams. So that's it from us both here on World Pro Racing. It's goodbye from me and Nicholas. And now we head to the highlights. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and see you very soon.
stream is powered by Melita, using Melita Gigapower Internet. World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
For only €5 a month, experience every high-definition moment on your TV, tablet, phone or PC. Great teams, great moments, and so much more. TSN from Melita is your ticket to stay in the game. Visit melita.com/sports.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
This is so dangerous. You are risking not only your life, but also my life.
wish your Wi-Fi network would just work in any room? Our new Stellar Wi-Fi is AI assisted to give you the smoothest, fastest possible Wi-Fi throughout your home. Stellar Wi-Fi, assisted by AI, exclusive to Melita. Find out more in-store or online.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.